Imagine just for a second that you're flying peacefully over the open ocean. The sky is crystal clear, the weather's totally normal, you're just relaxed. But then, almost out of nowhere, everything changes. Your compass just starts spinning completely out of control. Your radio dies, just dead static, cutting you off from the rest of the world. You look down and the ocean below has turned this strangely, terrifyingly dark color. And then, without a single warning, your plane just vanishes. Gone. Well, welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to explore one of the world's most enduring, legendary, mysterious mysteries. A place where people go in, but, as history shows us, a lot of them never come out. No wreckage, no bodies, no signal. Just nothing. For decades, this massive stretch of the Atlantic Ocean has absolutely terrified pilots, sailors, and explorers. You name it. We're talking about that infamous giant triangle-shaped zone bordered by Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. And you know, when vessels vanish out here, it isn't like a typical accident where debris washes up on a beach a few days later. No, it is an absolute erasure. These disappearances seem totally impossible to explain, and they leave behind this terrifying silence that has essentially turned this patch of water into a global legend. Okay, let's dive into this timeline. 1492, Columbus's voyage. 1918, USS Cyclops. 1921, Carol A. Deering. 1945, Flight 19. To really grasp how this terrifying legend blew up, we have to look at the history. Because, spoiler alert, this isn't just some modern phenomenon that started when we invented the airplane. The dread surrounding this region stretches way back, from the earliest days of transatlantic exploration right up through the 20th century. So we're going to walk through these historical milestones to see exactly how this mystery was built, piece by chilling piece. 1492, strange lights and spinning compasses. The fear actually kicks off all the way back in 1492. Long before airplanes or advanced navigation, early sailors were already incredibly creeped out by this specific part of the Atlantic. In fact, if you look at the historical journals of Christopher Columbus, when he crossed through this area, he reported some extremely weird phenomena. He literally wrote about strange, mysterious lights just glowing in the distance at night. And even more alarming, he noted that his compass started acting super erratic, pointing in odd directions. So for early sailors who were already pretty terrified of the vast, uncharted ocean, these were extremely bad omens. 300. But the legend didn't really hit world-famous status until the 20th century. And that number, 300, is a massive reason why. Picture this. It's 1918, and the USS Cyclops, which is this absolutely massive U.S. Navy cargo ship, is traveling through the Atlantic carrying over 300 people. And then it just vanishes, completely gone. No distress signal was ever received, not a single piece of wreckage was ever found. A gigantic steel ship and over 300 souls simply ceased to exist. To put that into perspective, to this very day, the vanishing of the USS Cyclops remains one of the largest non-combat losses in the entire history of the United States Navy. Just unbelievable.
Now we have a really chilling contrast here with the USS Cyclops leaving nothing behind in 1918, and then the Carol A. Deering in 1921, leaving behind an abandoned ship, untouched cargo, and a missing crew. The Deering was a literal ghost ship. It was found drifting inside the region, but with zero crew aboard. The cargo? Totally untouched. All their personal belongings were still on the ship. The craziest part, the food was actually still prepared and waiting in the kitchen. It's like the ultimate terrifying dine and dash. The navigation equipment was missing, but nobody has ever figured out what happened to those sailors. Did they panic? Did something attack them? We just don't know.
1945, the vanishing of Flight 19. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. This brings us to the exact event that truly cemented the Bermuda Triangle into the global consciousness. December 5th, 1945. 5 U.S. Navy bomber planes, known collectively as Flight 19, took off from Florida for what was supposed to be a completely routine training mission. Now, these pilots were experienced veterans, and the weather started out perfectly normal. But as they flew out over the water, radio communications started revealing this deep confusion and then rising panic. The flight leader reported their compasses were malfunctioning. Then, as the radio calls got increasingly desperate, one of the pilots keyed his mic and reportedly delivered that incredibly haunting line. Everything looks strange, even the ocean. Just imagine the sheer terror of that moment. You're a highly trained military pilot, and the very environment around you suddenly feels completely alien. Shortly after that chilling transmission, total silence. The entire squadron of 5 planes vanished. 27. And the horror actually didn't stop there. 14 crew members vanished forever with Flight 19. But then, when a rescue plane was sent out to search the waters for those missing guys, that rescue plane disappeared shortly afterward too. That's 13 more men gone. So 27 people vanished in total, in a single afternoon, and again, no confirmed wreckage was ever found. This compounding tragedy deeply shocked America, and it essentially birthed the modern legend of the Bermuda Triangle.
Did something attack these ships? These incredibly well-documented disappearances leave us staring at a massive, haunting question. Did something attack these ships and planes? Did the crews just suddenly panic and abandon them? Or, is something entirely hidden beneath the ocean responsible? As we transition from the history of these tragedies to actually interrogating the causes, we have to look at how we as human beings try to make sense of the unknown.
Supernatural legends versus grounded science. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide in how we process mysteries. Because there were no survivors and no wreckage, these events became a perfect blank canvas. On one side of the coin, you have supernatural legends that totally stretch the bounds of reality. And on the other side, you have grounded, modern science trying to apply logic to the chaos. So let's explore exactly what happens when human imagination gets fueled by a total lack of evidence, and then contrast that with what oceanographers are actually telling us today.
Because we inherently dislike unanswered questions, some pretty wild theories have popped up. One of the most popular claims is that extraterrestrials are involved, the idea being that UFOs are traveling to hidden underwater bases, and their tech messes with aircraft systems. Other people believe the area acts as an interdimensional portal, transporting vessels to somewhere else entirely. And there's even the fascinating theory that the lost city of Atlantis is down there, with ancient crystal technology acting up. Because hey, apparently Atlantean tech doesn't come with an off switch. Now, just to be clear, there is absolutely zero scientific proof supporting these ideas. But the total lack of physical evidence from these disappearances is just high-octane fuel for the human imagination. It makes it the perfect environment for these incredible theories to thrive.
Rogue waves. Massive, sudden ocean waves capable of reaching heights over 100 feet. But let's pivot over to the hard science now. Because honestly, the reality of the Atlantic Ocean is frightening enough on its own. The Atlantic is one of the most dangerous bodies of water on Earth. It regularly experiences incredibly violent storms and hurricanes. But arguably even more terrifying are rogue waves. These are massive, completely sudden ocean waves that can reach heights of over 100 feet. It's like a 10-story building of water. If a ship encounters a wall of water that massive and that unpredictable, it could be swamped and sink instantly, literally leaving no time at all to even get a distress call out.
Step 1. Methane gas erupts from ocean floor. Step 2. Water density suddenly drops. Step 3. Vessel sinks rapidly without warning. Let's look at another fascinating scientific explanation to see how natural chemistry builds a pretty compelling case. This is the methane gas theory. Step 1. Scientists know for a fact there are huge pockets of methane gas trapped right beneath the ocean floor. If an eruption happens down there, all that gas bubbles up to the surface. Step 2. As this massive amount of gas mixes with the water, the actual density of the ocean drastically. And remember, ships only float because the water is dense enough to hold them up. So, step 3, if a massive vessel happens to be sitting right there when the water's density suddenly vanishes, the water literally can't support the ship's weight anymore. The ship sinks rapidly, swallowed whole with almost zero warning. And some scientists even suggest that methane rising into the atmosphere could choke out airplane engines too.
Normal Earth magnetic variations, severe Atlantic storms and hurricanes, deep, unforgiving ocean currents, and human navigation errors and panic. So the absolutely crucial point here is this. When scientists look at the Bermuda Triangle, they don't see aliens. They see a deadly combination of natural and human factors. They point to normal Earth magnetic variations that could easily confuse older compasses. They point to the severe Atlantic storms and those 100-foot rogue waves we just talked about. They highlight the incredibly deep, fast-moving ocean currents that can easily sweep wreckage miles away before anyone can find it. And finally, the ultimate wildcard, human error. In an already dangerous environment, one small navigation mistake can lead to panic. And I don't have to tell you, panic out in the open sea is incredibly deadly.
The ocean's true power. Nature versus humanity.
The scariest possibility isn't aliens. It's nature itself. Today, thousands of ships and airplanes travel through the Bermuda Triangle completely safely, every single year. We use GPS and satellites to monitor weather systems continuously, which has drastically reduced these mysterious accidents. And this really proves a harsh reality. The scariest possibility isn't aliens or interdimensional portals. It's nature itself. The Bermuda Triangle is just a really harsh reminder of isolation, the dark, and the sheer force of oceanic storms. Our human psychology naturally fears the unknown, right? Mysteries become super powerful when we can't easily explain them. But the reality is that the ocean represents the ultimate unknown. It's vast, it is totally unforgiving, and when small mistakes happen out there, the ocean sometimes leaves no evidence behind, only silence.
What secrets still remain hidden forever beneath the dark Atlantic Ocean?
Scientists estimate that the vast majority of our Earth's oceans remain completely unmapped in detail. I mean, deep beneath the Atlantic, there are underwater mountains, massive trenches, and entire environments that we barely understand. The Bermuda Triangle basically exists right at the intersection of science, fear, legend, and human imagination. So as commercial planes continue to fly totally safely overhead today, we're left with this final thought to wrap up our explainer. If the ocean itself remains this untamed and this unexplored, what other secrets still remain hidden forever beneath the dark Atlantic Ocean? Thanks for exploring with us today. Keep questioning the unknown.